What's up guys, and welcome back to another episode of the Realistic CM. It's episode number 39. And we start today's episode off with a brief look at our budget on the back of the two big signings in the last episode. Reiss Nelson returning to the Emirates and also Ben Godfrey coming in from Everton as well. We started off with a bid here for Adama Traore. As you see, the Kolasinac deal ended up falling through. And it was Burnley that wanted to take him to Turf Moor. Yeah, we just signed Reiss Nelson off of them. And now they want to replace him with the former Wolves winger, who is out of contract come the end of this season. Couldn't negotiate much more money than his current market valuation at 24.5 mil. That is often what you'll find as well. When a player's in his final year of his contract, it's very hard to sell him for much more than his valuation. Same goes for buying though as well. Normally the player's in his final year of his deal, you can get him for very close to valuation. But 25 mil was the fee we negotiated with Burnley, who saw Mari did indeed leave to Real Sociedad as well. And also a bid coming in for Guendouzi as well. I was very tempted to accept this, because it was PSG. He is French, as we know. 38 mil is the market valuation. 42.1 mil is what PSG put in. But I've never used Guendouzi in FIFA, and I'll have one season with him to see what he's like. So we keep him here for now. But Traore did indeed go to Burnley for £25 million. And I kind of like that as well. We signed a right winger off them, so they signed a right winger off us. So yeah, Traore gone to Turf Moor there, as we've been doing some deals with Burnley in the summer, as we knew we would. And I also accepted this bid here from Torino for Beretta, our 31-year-old Brazilian striker too. So around 68 million in the budget after the sales of Mari and also Adama Traore. As you can see, I decided to reinvest that in a new playmaker. He's left the Emirates Stadium like many of their good youngsters have, but it's time to bring him back, just like we did with Reiss Nelson. Emile Smith-Rowe, fantastic young player. And we signed him for £45 million. Sam Allardyce, still the baggies at this point in the game, accepted that bid. That was, I think, 7.5 mil over the current market valuation. He's growing to 82 overall. He's still only 23 years old, so still really young. And, you know, as we're rebuilding this Arsenal team, what you'll notice is that we're returning former players back to their home. Smith-Rowe, I believe, joined Arsenal as like a 10-year-old. He came in as a kid. He came through the academy. He's Arsenal through and through. He had to leave to get first-team football and apply his trade elsewhere in the game, but now he's back where he belongs, back at the Emirates Stadium. This guy could play on the flank. I think he's an inside forward. He could do quite well. 4-star with a high-medium work rates to good agility and the pace as well. But we would, of course, be playing him as an advanced playmaker in this team. And what I'm going to do with this Arsenal side now, playing this 4-2-3-1 their system, I'm going to have Smith-Rowe as our starting playmaker. But I'm going to put Mikel Merino as a centre-half. Now, Mikel Merino is a jack of all trades. I mean, this guy can literally do anything. He's got stats all over the pitch in all of the different attributes. And I'm going to try and train him as a ball-playing defender. Now, if I remember correctly, during his brief stint at Borussia Dortmund, he was playing as a centre-back in quite a few games. I might be wrong about that, but I think that was what happened. But he's got great defensive stats. He's a very physical player. He's 6'2". He's got a higher defensive work rate, as we accept this bid here for Kolasinac from Watford. And also see Beretta does indeed lead to Torino for 19.5 million as well. Yeah, I'm going to try and retrain Mikel Merino to play centre-half alongside Ben Godfrey. So two very good passes of the ball in our back four. That's going to be really handy with the play style we'll have with Arsenal, as Kolasinac does indeed go to Watford here. I'm excited to see how that works out, man. It's a bit of an experiment. It might work out, it might not, but we shall see how it goes. Merino phasing back to play centre-half, and of course Smith-Rowe coming to be our starting attacking midfielder. So on the back of the sale there, as you can see, we had around £60 million now in the budget, and decided to bring in a new central midfielder to this Arsenal side. I know Kevin Campbell was signed by the AI manager last season, Mikel Arteta's final piece of business before leaving the club, but I wanted to bring a teammate of Reiss Nelson's back to the Emirates Stadium, and of course it had to be one of the teammates he was with in the Arsenal Academy, Josh Da Silva, who he signed from Brentford back in Season 1 with Burnley. He was such a great, underrated player in our team, 91 stamina, great stats all over the pitch. Burnley would accept a £37 million bid for the former Arsenal and Brentford man, and just like with Smith-Rowe, just like with Reiss Nelson, we're bringing back a former academy graduate to the Emirates. So it's like rebuilding, but also returns as well. Players coming back, as Josh Da Silva signs a 5-year, 71 grand a week deal. And then he was so consistently good in the Burnley team last year. If you remember last season as well, don't forget in the Premier League, he won the assist title last year. He's got the high work rates, you know I love, fantastic passing stats, 5-star weak foot. He just looks like the perfect deep-lying playmaker in this Arsenal team, playing alongside either Camara or, actually I'm not sure who'll start alongside. I was thinking about Mikel Merino again, and now Merino's being phased back to play as a centre-half in this team, but either playing alongside Camara or Guendouzi. I think Josh Da Silva again is a deep-lying playmaker in the side, but also with bags of energy as well. Could be a really awesome player for ball retention and also great work ethic as well. So let's take a look at the Arsenal side before we head into the first game of the season against Liverpool. You know, the one thing you would say is it's a really thin squad. I think it's got a lot of quality in it, but it is really thin. In terms of captaincy this year, by the way, I wasn't really sure who to give it to. Now, I've given it to Kieran Tierney for now, the former Celtic left-back, the Scot. I've given it to him. I was thinking him, Maitland-Niles, or possibly Reece Nelson as well. But I've given it to Tierney to begin with. I might possibly change it during this season, but Tierney's been here since the very beginning of the save, as has Maitland-Niles, to be fair. But I think Kieran, to me, I just see him as more of a long-term star in this Arsenal team, as opposed to Maitland-Niles. I think at some point we'll probably look to, if not shift on Ainsley, then phase him onto the bench. But Kieran, I think, will probably be our starting left-back throughout the entire time we're here with Arsenal. He signed a new extension here as well to mark the captaincy alongside Mikel Merino and also Gabriel Martinelli. All three of those players had a deal to come to the end of the year. They've all signed contract extensions. And we look at our fixtures for August as well. The first 4 games: Liverpool at home, our first away day. You knew who it was going to be. Burnley at Turf Moor, first away day. You know I'm absolutely buzzing for that. And yeah, I'm very excited, man. Really, really excited for our first season with the Gunners. As we know, the board have said to us, qualify for the Champions League, finish in the top 4. Look, that is definitely what I'm aiming for as I make my press conference debut with the Gunners here as well. Top 4 to me is like I wouldn't say it's the minimum expectation. Look, Europa League football is the absolute minimum. If we can't finish in 5th, 6th or 7th and have like a 10th place finish like the Gunners did last year, we've let ourselves down, no doubt about it. So yeah, Europa League is the bare minimum, but to me, Champions League, that's what I'm targeting. If we can scrape 4th place by 1 goal on the final day, I'll call it a good season. They also want us to win the FA Cup as well. I've got a great track record in the FA Cup, so of course we'll be going very strong in that competition, but the Premier League, finishing the top 4 is our main objective. We want Champions League football back at the Emirates Stadium. So yeah, for the first game of the season, I was quite excited for it, but it was Liverpool, who of course, as we know, won the FA Cup last season, taking them on here at the Emirates Stadium. Our first game here in North London, and it didn't really get off to the start I was hoping. Just 42 minutes into the game, after a lackluster first half an hour, Mo Salah would give the Reds the lead as he would run to Klopp to celebrate. And I was really struggling to create chances. Now again, we're rebuilding this Arsenal team. It's going to take a while to get the team cohesion and the team chemistry clicking and firing all cylinders. We had the one golden chance 6 minutes after the restart, Suarez denied by Alisson, as it was still 1-0 to Liverpool. And in the second half, they're still trailing by a goal. 6 minutes to go, trying to pass out from the back. Well, what was I saying a moment ago there about Merino and Godfrey being good at passing out from the back, good ball distribution in our back line? Well, failed to clear a corner, gave it straight back to the Reds, and Immobile, the Italian, doubles their lead. And I was thinking, oh my goodness gracious me. That was me dreaming of a big thumping 4-0 victory of our first game as Arsenal manager. We were going to lose at home on the opening day. We will get ourselves a consolation goal, 4 seconds to go in normal time. Suarez getting sent through 1-on-1, drilling it past the Brazilian and giving us, if nothing else, consolation. But all it proved to be, the Reds get the win by 2-1. And you know, this is going to take some time. We're an Arsenal team undergoing a major transition. We've walked in here knowing we've got a lot of work to do, a lot of trust to repay in the fans, and a lot of rebuilding and transition to make as well. This is like Rome. It wasn't built in a day. It's going to take some time to get to grips with the new Arsenal team. And again, as we continue to rebuild and transition this side, we'll have new signers coming in, more players leaving, I'm sure. It's going to take some time before we're an Arsenal team able to compete for major silverware once again, I feel. Possibly again the domestic cups, the FA Cup, the Carabao Cup, maybe in our first season, but it will take a while, I think, before we're able to compete for a Premier League title once again, like back in the day. So yeah, following defeat on the opening day, we did see that Runnison was indeed sold to KA again. We also rejected a bid for Martinelli as as well. And with 10 million in the budget, not much to work with right now, as the transfer window has 3 weeks to go. But on the back of the opening day defeat, the most important thing to me is we quickly build chemistry and get our first points of the new season as Arsenal manager. But that will end today's episode of the Realistic Career Mode, guys. Big thank you for watching. Hope you have enjoyed it. And if you have enjoyed today's episode of the Realistic CM, then please drop a like. Much love to you all. Have a fantastic day, and I'll see you for the next episode featuring our return to Turf Moor of our first game against Burnley and transfer deadline day 2 very soon.